Welcome to the video. We're here today to talk about the commune that we live in. This is Linda. In the commune, lots of chaos happens. Lots of love, lots of sex, lots of beauty, lots of feelings. People share all the things inside themselves. It's a lot to handle, but it's the way we live, and it's really lovely. How do you feel about the commune?
I have experience living in a few different communal, intentional households. So far, this is my favorite, actually. I like that I have a lot of freedom to do what I want to do or not do. And I think I really like communal living. It's not something that I thought I would, it wasn't something that entered my radar at all. I didn't think, oh, you know what I need? I need a community. But when I found it, I was like, this is the thing I definitely need.
Yeah, I never knew it really existed before, and I didn't think of myself as a people person, someone who liked being in groups. But little by little, I'm learning more and more about how to live with other people. At first, I was exploring and I wanted to get to know everybody, and everyone had different perspectives. At first, I thought that it was going to be a monoculture and everyone's going to be like hippie, yoga, vegan people. But what I've learned is that everyone is different, which is so the opposite of what I expected. I thought that there would be groupthink, and I expected for everyone to sort of meld into one. But I definitely have not become like the other people. I've learned some of the viewpoints, and it's definitely opened my eyes to different ways of seeing things, different politics, different freedoms, flexibilities, and then also restrictions and what people are not okay with. So boundaries are something that I've had to learn very clearly, because when you live so close with other people, there's a lot that you have to interact with. Noises. There are a lot of energies and personalities that you get to work through and try to understand how people operate. Although it's been challenging, it's definitely given me a big opportunity for growth, to get to know myself better. And I feel like this is a way that I could live for a very long time. It's in some ways really challenging because there's less space for you. So if you need a lot of alone time, then what you need to do is lock yourself in your room. And some people do that. And that's great. And that's accepted. You can be yourself. There's no reason that you have to be a certain way. And in the community we live in, everyone has their own eccentricities. And at first I thought, oh, if I say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, I'm going to get kicked out. People are going to hate me. But I realized over time that, one, they voted me in to stay, which is really beautiful. And I felt so good. I did not expect that, not even a little. I thought they were going to kick me out as soon as they could. But I realized that in a family like this, everyone has their issues. You can't always do and say the things that someone else wants to hear. At the beginning, it feels like you have to try to be on and put on a show, but little by little you realize that when you're living somewhere, everyone's going to see the nasty stuff, the hard parts about you, the things that you have difficulty with yourself. Everyone's going to see that, everyone's going to know. And something that makes it easier is actually sharing these things with others. When I share when things are really bad, they get closer to me, which seems counterintuitive, but vulnerability is really connecting. Because if you can show the darkest parts of yourself, then other people feel safe doing the same. And the thing that you're hiding from others is something that you can connect with. Because again, if you're just showing the good things, then you're not really seeing each other. The real self is the things that you try to hide. Those are the things that we really should be letting out. Yeah.
Agreed.
She agrees. Are there any things you want to add about this place?
Yeah, I think it's given me an opportunity to be a new version of myself every day, which I've don't know that I would have the opportunity to do that. I really love it. And I like to think that I'm living a life of choosing what I want versus obligation versus things that I feel like I have to do. So I've been trying to really move radically into that direction of just radical joy, whatever that looks like, and everyone in the house. It feels like everyone is on that journey, and it's really exciting because I think day-to-day life people, you don't have access to that, and maybe people that you encounter in your life are doing that journey, but you wouldn't know it because you're not sharing those things, you're not connecting on that level. So yeah, it's a special sort of thing, community, but like intentional community. So what's the intent? It's kind of whatever you want. It's kind of a group of people that will support you on whatever intent you want. So that's and I think a lot of people choose community based on maybe their birth families are not that supportive of their lives, or they're being disowned or whatever, or even just subtle sort of disapproval of a lifestyle. I think a lot of us in intentional communities probably are sort of black sheep, and I think that's why these intentional community communes, whatever you call them, have a reputation for being like cults, because a lot of the time you leave your birth family and you join this sort of adopted family, and I don't think people wake up and say, I want to leave my birth family. It's often that you don't feel like you really jive with your birth family, or to the extreme, you feel like you really don't, it's abusive, or it's just you're just a different speed than they are, or whatever it may be. Because I think everybody who wants family deserves to feel family. But sometimes your birth family is just not, they just don't get it. Let's say, at best, they just don't get it. Maybe they want to get it, but they just really don't. And it's nice to have people that are willing to support you on whatever journey you're on.
Yeah, one thing about birth family is they've got views of what life is supposed to look like. Whereas if you're creating your own chosen family, you're picking people who are on a path that can understand you. In our community, many of the people who live here have very non-traditional work structures. They don't do 9 to 5s, and because of that freedom, that separation from the norm, right? It makes me feel more comfortable with my non-traditional lifestyle. So as we move away from the usual, I become more accepting of myself and different ways of being, and I can choose to listen to what's going on in my heart, what I really want, and try to shut down the noise of society telling me this is what you're supposed to be. Shut down the noise of my parents who say, oh, you're supposed to be a doctor, a lawyer, you're supposed to fit a certain mold. Living in this place has given me an opportunity to open my eyes and understand that there are other ways that I can live my life. And I don't have to feel guilt or shame for choosing to be myself.
That's great. I'm glad you feel that.
Oh.